everyone, and welcome to today's practice where we'll be slowing things down and turning inward. This Bedtime Yin is a slow and contemplative practice. We'll hold the poses for up to 5 minutes. So I like to get nice and comfortable for these type of practices by placing a blanket over my mat for some extra coziness and lighting my favorite candle to set the atmosphere in the room. Grab yourself a bolster or a couple of pillows just to stack so you can really soften into the positions, and also a couple of blocks, and just keep those blocks somewhere handy so you can reach them. If you don't have blocks, as always, you could stack a couple of books. Let's get started. We will start just sitting on the edge of the bolster. So just pop the sit bones up here. And we'll take this left hand, place it around the back, rest it on the lower back, and it might even sit just on the edge of that bolster. With your right hand, you could place it here on the lap, or you could take it and just again take it around the outside of the bolster. And then we'll take this left ear down towards the left shoulder. We'll take some movements here, moving the chin upwards and downwards. Beginning to set up our breath by taking the breath deeper and longer. As you breathe in, moving the chin upwards, and as you breathe out, taking the chin downwards. Take a couple more like this, and then we'll start to take the chin from one side to the other. So taking the chin up towards that right hand side and then turning it to the left. Once again, matching the movements with the breath. And always going to a distance that feels comfortable for you. Let's take a couple more like this. And then we're going to hold it here. That left ear down towards the left shoulder. You could close the eyes down here if it feels comfortable. Maybe with those eyes closed, set the gaze down the nose tip. And here, start to really turn inwards by noticing your breath. With that next breath in, allow yourself to expand through the belly, the ribs and the chest, and take a full breath out, softening the belly, the ribs and the chest. Continuing those breaths. When you're ready, you're going to release the left hand and just use it on the side of the face to bring the head back up through center. Release this right arm out and just allow yourself here in the center just to be soft. Take note of how you feel down the left and right sides of the body. Paying particular attention to your left and right sides. Take a full breath in. Open your mouth and exhale that full breath out. If you decided to cross the legs previously, then let's switch up the cross of the legs with the opposite shin in front. And move over to the opposite side. So taking this right arm behind, resting the back of the hand on the low back or just on the edge of that bolster. Take your left hand around and placing it just behind the bolster. This time it's the right ear that comes down to the right shoulder. As we take those movements with the chin upwards, downwards, breathing in to come up, breathing out to come down. Paying attention to that breath and just notice if you can stretch your breath out. Maybe take an extra second in the breath in and therefore an extra second in the movement upwards. And matching that breath out to your downwards movement. Let's pause here and take those movements with the chin from one side to the other. Remembering checking in with what feels comfortable for you. Letting the rest of your body be soft. Letting your body be supported by the bolster underneath. All we want to do is focus on the slowness and the steadiness of our breath. Let's take one more like this. Coming back with that right ear to right shoulder and pausing, deciding here if you'd like to close down the eyes. Keeping the gaze soft down the nose tip. Breathing deeply, expanding belly, ribs and chest. Exhaling completely, softening belly, ribs and chest. Another full breath here. Remember, as you release this right hand, Let's use it on the side of the face just to give our head a helping hand back through center. Bring the left hand back out, the right hand releases down. Find that comfortable seat and pay attention to how you're feeling now down the left and right sides. Paying that attention to the neck. Take a big breath in and a full breath out. We'll make our way into the next shape. So for this one, we'll need our bolsters just across the mat. Have the blocks somewhere around the front. This pose is a pigeon pose, but with that support of the bolster or your pillows. We'll do the left side first. So take this left leg over the bolster and then walk the left foot down to the right side. Bring the hands out in front of the bolster and then lower yourself down so that the pelvis sits on the bolster, and this back leg can either just rest behind. You might feel more comfortable with pressing that back knee into the bolster. You can stay up here on the hands. You might decide to come down onto the forearms, and this is where the blocks become useful. You could stack the blocks, maybe rest the forehead onto those stacked blocks, but you could just as easily rest the face into the palms here. So have a play around with the different positions and see what feels better for you today. Remembering that we do want to find some comfort in the pose so that we can stay here for a little bit extra, and that we can just let ourselves focus on the breathing and on letting go of the body. Noticing with this next breath in if your body is holding any tension anywhere. And as you take your next breath out, just letting go, letting those areas where you feel the tension to become a little bit heavier and a little bit softer. Perhaps you feel like changing the position of the hands. You could maybe stack the hands and rest the forehead down onto the stacked palms. Remembering wherever you go, the focus is on the breath and on letting go. let's give ourselves another 2 rounds of the breath here. And then very gently start to bring yourself back up onto the hands. Roll over onto this left side of the sit bone. And then bring this left leg around as you use that bolster to rest the pelvis, the hips down. And then both legs out behind. Again, come down to a comfortable position here. Maybe using those blocks under the forehead. Maybe resting the head into the stacked palms. As you soften out here in this rebound position, notice how you're feeling down the left and right sides of the body. Paying particular attention to the hips and the pelvis area. Take a full breath in. Open the mouth and take a full breath out. Start to make your way back up onto the hands and knees as we prepare for the right side. Taking this right foot over the bolster, walking the right foot down towards that left side of the bolster, placing the palms down and bringing the pelvis down onto the bolster. Your options with the back leg, it might just rest behind, or you might bring this back knee into the bolster. Decide whether you'd like to stay on the hands here and then perhaps coming down onto forearms, resting the forehead onto the blocks. One side of the body might feel a little bit different to the other, and that's completely normal in the body. So just have a play around with what's feeling best for you. Once you've found that position, then set the awareness on your breathing. With every breath in, remembering that expansion through belly, ribs and chest. With every breath out, softening belly, ribs and chest. As you spend more time in this position, noticing if you'd like to switch up where the hands are. Perhaps now you will come all the way down onto the stacked legs. But remember that it's okay if you get there and it doesn't feel good. just come back to using the blocks or resting the face into the hands. You decide, remembering it's your practice. It's your time to check in with the body by focusing on this breathing, by scanning the body with every breath in for any little areas that might be trying to grip onto tension. And then with every one of your breaths out, softening into those areas another little bit. Giving yourself another 2 rounds of breath here. And when you feel ready, moving ever so slowly, coming out of the shape, leaning over onto the right sit bone, bringing this right leg back around, and then using the bolster to rest the pelvis down. The legs will rest out behind. And come down onto your blocks or the stacked palms. Taking some nice deep breaths in and some complete full breaths out. As you check in once again with those right and left sides of the body, paying particular attention to the hips, the pelvis, let's take a full breath in. Open the mouth and let that full breath out. Ever so slowly, coming back up onto the hands and knees. Taking your time. Once again, we're going to use this bolster, but this time we're going to take the bolster down the length of the mat. And again, we're going to use our blocks here. So I like to stack one block lengthways and another block on its higher edge. Have a play around. You might like to keep the second block on its medium edge. The idea is that you get this kind of shape with the bolster. And then we want to come around and sit in front of the bolster. So take the sit bones, rest them just in front. We'll start with the left side. So straightening out with the right leg, bringing this left heel in towards the left sit bone, just to the outside of that sit bone, the outside of the hip. This might be enough for you to maybe stay seated. You might like to come back down on the bolster. And then you decide with the arms, it's very nice to rest them down by the sides of the body. It's also really nice to place them on the belly, or even just taking the hands behind the head. With all of these shapes, take a moment and see what feels better for you. Every time you do the practice, you might feel a little bit different. You might feel that one day the arms feel good down by the sides, and the next day they might feel good behind the head. So just allow yourself to take some time to notice. When you find that position, remembering we're focusing on the breathing. Breathing deep, expanding belly, ribs and chest. Exhaling fully, softening belly, ribs and chest. If you notice any areas of your body that are holding on, use your breath out. Let yourself sink a little bit deeper into that support of the earth. Give yourself another couple of rounds of breath here. When you feel ready, slowly and mindfully moving out of the shape by just rolling over onto this right forearm, just bringing yourself back up into that seat. Taking the left leg out, bending through both knees. We'll fold over the legs, tuck the chin into the chest here. Take a full breath in, open the mouth, then take a full breath out. Moving back so that we can do the opposite side. So left leg rests long. Take this right heel to the outside of the right sit bone. Just setting yourself up tall on the sit bones. Remembering you can stay here. You can adjust this right foot to a position that feels better in your body. And you can come down onto the bolster, resting the arms down by the sides, palms up towards the ceiling. As you settle in for those beautiful long breaths. Give yourself another 2 full breaths in and full breaths out. When you feel ready to start moving out of this shape, come over onto this left side of the forearm. And then bring yourself back up into a seat, releasing this right leg. You've got that slight bend in the knees, and then roll the body over the legs, just reaching the arms out long, tucking that chin in towards the chest. Take a big breath in, open the mouth, and allow the full breath out. Gently roll yourself back up. We will take the bolster off to the side, the blocks off to the side. Come down on to your back. If you'd like, you could place the bolster under the knees here. It's a nice variation of our resting pose. With or without the bolster, gently coming onto the spine. Let's place the hands onto the belly. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Let go of your whole body. Become heavy on the mat. Notice the sound of your breath. Take one last big breath in and a full breath out. We'll take a full body stretch, Reaching the arms up over the head, reaching the legs long. Draw those knees into the chest. Give yourselves a big hug. Rock gently from one side to the other. Roll over onto your preferred side. And then when you feel ready, make your way up into a comfortable upright seat. Take your time in getting here as we come to the end of our practice today. Let's bring the hands at the heart center and take that bow of the forehead towards the fingertips. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this style of practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.